All right, colleagues, good afternoon. My name is Moketsi Benedict Tekere. I am the co-founder of Mwana Africa, which is Botswana's only pre-seed startup accelerator. We work with early stage startups. We assist them to get the necessary structure that allows them to get to the smart capital, what we call venture capital funding or angel investor funding. For this year, as you know, we are also the curators of the Global Entrepreneurship Week Botswana since 2013, which its main role is to bring together people that build businesses to celebrate the people that do us, basically. The problem solvers that see the problems in their communities and they're like, hey, let's turn this into a great business. So for this year, we've got a myriad program, which is quite diverse. It brings global networks from around the world. And what is of interest this year is we've invited a specific selected cohort of entrepreneurs who are based in Botswana. They're mainly Botswana citizens, but they're building businesses for the global world. We've invited in this session as well the Republic of Estonia, who have partnered with us through their E-Residency program, because we think that Estonia is a flagship for the African continent. When you think of Estonia, you think smart, paperless, seamless, disruptive, impact. So Botswana is small, Estonia is small. So they're both wealthy, they're both good government countries. Why not leverage the exchange and the learning? So when I reached out to Mats over LinkedIn, he was quick to respond and say, we are quick to support such work. Botswana is actually a country of our interest. So we are happy to work with you. So we would like to officially mention that this is a collaboration that has been influenced over platform. And this is the power of platform. It doesn't care about the borders. You know, it just disrupts, it creates the necessary relationships. And our KPI for this session is to empower and spotlight our entrepreneur, but to bring in the knowledge from others that have done it countless times and that have done it for the benefit of their economies. And this is why we're running this session. So at this juncture, let me just mention that this session is being publicly recorded on the Global Entrepreneurship Week Botswana as part of the week's theme itself of just leveraging relationships and building one connected entrepreneurship ecosystem in more than 190 plus countries. And there are more than 40,000 events. In Botswana alone this week, we've got more than 10 plus events. If I'm correct, 30 plus. So these events are running through to the 14th. So let me allow the colleagues from Estonia residency to introduce themselves. And then later on, we'll have an interaction with the Botswana founders and make sure that we have a build on this to build the relationship with the connections. So Max, let me hand over to you now and to lead the discussion. And if any presentation will give you guys the power to do so. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Muketsi, for this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to say how happy I am that we have this connection between Estonia and Botswana. At university, I was always taught about Botswana as a great governance country in Africa. That's something that we in Estonia, we want to be that in Europe. So it's really nice to make that connection. And also Estonia and Botswana, by the way, share very special bonds because we're the only two countries in the world that have blue, black, and white on our flags. But today we have also two more people. So I am Mats, I'm head of business strategy at the Government of Estonia E-Residency program. But we also have an E-resident here. Christelle, maybe you want to introduce yourself? Christelle, you're muted still.
Hello, I'm Christelle. I'm E-Residency Estonia as well and CEO of Easy Assistant.
And we have Annika as well from StartupEstonia.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Yes, I will be telling today you a little bit about the Estonian startup ecosystem.
Wonderful. So we can all have a little chat, but I will, just to start, to give you a little background, I will show you some slides also about Estonia, what e-residency is, and broadly about Estonia's business environment as well. So I'll just try to share some slides. I don't know if I can. Where is the sharing button? I don't see it. I don't know, Muketsi, maybe you can help me to share the slides because I can't see that button at the moment. Oh, yeah, sorry, no, I'm good. Yeah, do you guys see it? I hope it's a yes. Let me know if not. So e-residency program. This is, we're a six years old program. And essentially we offer digital identity documents for anyone in the world that is used for entrepreneurship mostly. So mostly to set up companies and run them online by people from anywhere in the world. But I'll just come back to that. I will speak a little bit about Estonia in general. So Estonia, in a way, it's a country that has done a lot of policy experiments since the 1990s. And it built up digital governance bit by bit. So it was one of the first in the world to do that so extensively. In the 1990s, Estonia put its tax returns online, and soon the government realized that a lot more people started to pay tax. And slowly they put all the government services online for normal citizens, so you can vote in elections online, start a company online, name your baby online, do anything except getting married and divorced. And until recently, you couldn't buy or sell property online. But now we also have e-notary services in Estonia, thanks to COVID. So we fixed that part as well. What Annika will be telling more about is that Estonia has a lively startup ecosystem as well. There's a generally the business ecosystem is built to make entrepreneurs establish as many companies as possible, to make it as easy as possible. But also there are lots of things that support the startup ecosystem. Some of them are mentioned here as well. It's quite simple to hire people, to pay tax, and a lot of indexes also follow that up. And in a way, e-residency was just an idea that because Estonia is a small country, northeast of Europe, 1.3 million people, we have very cold winters, you know, not everyone wants to move here. So it was an idea to really open up Estonia to people outside, that they can basically, anyone can go online and become an e-resident. And with that, they can do business in Estonia without moving here. What e-residency is not, it's not a travel document, it's not a visa or residence permit, and it doesn't give you personal tax residency. So, and I would also show this is what e-residency card looks like. So you get a kit, you get a smart card reader, and then you can sign documents digitally and encrypt documents, and also, for example, if your company has investors who are e-residents, they can also trade shares, sign board meetings, and it's really quite comfortable. So in South Africa, I was recently in Johannesburg, and there was one Estonian company that has around, I think, 70 investors. And when they were doing their next round of funding, they put like a board decision online, and I think in 2 days they had 60 something signatures. So the rest of the people maybe would take a couple more days, but it's a lot easier and saves a lot of time, paper and notary. We have also a lively community globally. We have 86,000 people who have e-residency status, and they've established around 19,000 new companies in Estonia. And we also have 4 e-residents who are Botswanan nationals, but none of them have yet established companies in Estonia. So we hope that will change, and maybe some people today will get inspiration to become e-residents and establish also in EU-based companies. Estonia is also a country where you can speak English. So English is quite widely spoken, so it's not an issue. People don't need to speak a local language of any sort. Just how we compare internationally, our community actually is about half from the European Union and half from the outside the European Union. And this is how we compare. For example, our legal system is very much based on Germany. So rule of law index, Germany is still a little ahead of us, but it's in that index, I think it's 180 countries. So being 10th, we're very proud of. Corruption also, a lot of countries on that index. So Estonia's done quite well in the 30 years, but still working on it, mission not accomplished. International Tax Competitiveness Index, why Estonia is consistently #1 for the last 8 years is because Estonia has this tax law that if you reinvest your profits, then you're not taxed. That means that basically, as long as you grow the wealth of the company, you're not taxed. You're only taxed at the moment that you take out dividends. And it's also a place where it's quite easy to pay taxes. For example, personal tax forms all the information is sent to by the banks, normally to the tax office, and essentially you just do it in 5 clicks, and you add some costs or some additions if you want to. Really done very easily. But what is good news is that an Estonian company, Nortel, is also building the e-tax office in Botswana. So hopefully also there'll be a stronger connection from that end. A little bit about how the company creation works in a way. Anyone can go online and apply for e-residency card. So there's no restrictions for that. 95% of people get a yes immediately. Essentially, the Estonian police will look you up, will try to understand what you want to do with it. Might ask some questions. If they ask a lot of questions you're not bothered to answer, they might close the application. That happens 4%. And I think it's less than 1% that actually get a no. So it's very easy to get the card. Then you have to go and pick it up once. And what we did, we recently opened a pickup point in Johannesburg. We don't have one in Botswana, but that means that once you have to go to Johannesburg, there's an office, a Mead-Rand area, and you pick up your card, and the government also takes your data, so your fingerprints and a picture of you. And then after that, you can establish a company online with 15 minutes. The only thing that you need an Estonian address and a contact person. And then after that, you can go to our marketplace and choose a bank or a fintech company to work with, and then you can start your business and be part of our community. So it's quite an easy process. And I would say that anyone who's thinking about it seriously, I would advise apply for e-residency. It doesn't harm you, doesn't oblige you for anything, and then you can choose when and how you want to start your company. Estonia has this private limited company, OU, that is a top choice for e-residents. And you need, officially you need 2,500 euros of sharehold capital, but you can only pay that in before you sort of pay out dividend payments. So that means that many companies can operate for years and years and years without paying that in if they don't pay out dividends. And if you do pay that in, you can also use it for the company costs. And in Estonia, I would say the companies don't get sold so much because it's so easy to establish new ones. There is also what's important is that you essentially need an Estonian address and a contact person that a lot of companies from our marketplace can offer. But the person doesn't have any power over your company. You are directly in control. The role is more in a way that if someone sues your company, for example, then they will take a letter, and that officially by law will mean that the company is informed. The costs of running a company, I think, start from 120 euros a year to run it, basically to have a minimum service of having the company essentially. And there's small bookkeeping packages start from also maybe 20-something euros a year. So on a European sense, it's very cost effective, I would say. And there's a state fee of 120 euros to become a new resident, 190 euros to start a company. And often actually the companies that offer bookkeeping and other services, they do a lot of campaigns. So often they offer it for free even. This is our marketplace. So that's a place where you can go and compare the prices of different support you might need. There's tax advisors there. There is virtual office providers. There is also fintechs and banks. So essentially there's not much difference anymore between banks and fintechs. I would say maybe Christel has other experience because she's worked with a few. But we have a few that offer like essentially European IBAN. You can get a bank card, almost anything like that a traditional bank offers. And sometimes also if you do e-commerce or exports, then it might be easier if you have an Estonian IBAN. And we also have a fintech that offers Estonian IBAN as well. That is Payhawk. Yeah. And we have lovely e-resident community. This is Christel. You will meet her very soon. This is Allegan. He is running a software startup based in Sri Lanka, and he finds it easier to deal with international clients whilst having an Estonian entity. This is Fabrice. He is the startup founder. He's from Cote d'Ivoire, also based in Estonia partly, but has a bigger team in Cote d'Ivoire serving Western Africa. Bertrand is a management consultant from France, but he became a nomad, started to travel a lot as e-resident. So he sort of felt he became free from bureaucracy after having an Estonian company, because you can do anything from anywhere where you are without no paper. You can do it online. So he's always surfing somewhere, whenever we talk to him. And Novena has done also recruitment software with the companies based in Serbia. And Fabio as well is an Italian e-resident who started travel a lot as well, thanks to e-residency. And sometimes also it's easier if the company has many shareholders, then it's really a lot easier for them to sign it, especially if they're in different countries. So Ian and Luke, for example, they live in Switzerland and Korea. They're both Americans, but they find it easier to work with the Estonian company. And here are some resources. So if some of you want to look into and become an e-resident, there's an address for that. You can also go on our website, sign up for the newsletter, check out the marketplace, check out the different service providers, and maybe start the KYC process as well, if you're thinking about it, having an EU company. And maybe I'll just go through some of the benefits that we found, because we're quite new to Africa, because we didn't have a lot of pickup points for e-residency there. So that's why we're really happy to promote around Southern Africa, as we now have the Johannesburg pickup points. But I would say that what has come up a lot is that it's really easier to accept international payments. If you have a European bank account, so if you have European clients as well, then let's say you have a dispute with them, or something that is unsolved, they know that they can also sort this at a court in Europe, so it's easier for them. And sometimes, it's in a way, it's easier to also attract investment especially if they're a startup, or clients from that and in the European sphere. And the idea for us is really that Estonia it's a small country, and in a way, by being a country like an app, we become bigger, we become relevant. So we're really happy and proud of this international community. But yeah, I would pass on to Christelle now. Hopefully she can tell you what is the real experience of being an e-resident, and I look forward to a nice discussion later on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mads. That was really awesome. I just got one of the guys from our Twitter feed just sending in and say, hey, look, this e-residency thing looks very cool, right? So yeah, so let's pick it up on that. Yeah. So Christelle, over to you, yeah?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Christelle, and I'm a CEO of I'm a CEO of Easy Assistant. I'm also an E-Residency Estonia. So basically, my journey started when I wanted to expand my business, and also I was looking for a country where I can run things remotely and to save time and money and to be part of the digital initiative as well. Since most of my clients are from Switzerland, France, UK, Canada, and in the US, so that's why I actually end up signing up for the program. And it took me first of all, when I applied, it took me for them 2 weeks to give me an approval. And after that, I got my card and I pick it up in Turkey. And then I go forward and register my business with the help of Zolo. So it took me about 2 to 3 working days, and everything was done. So, and I was really, really happy. And for the banking system as well, I signed up with HV and I was approved. And due to COVID, I couldn't travel to Estonia to do the last step, for them to verify all those fingerprints. And they request me some additional information where I managed to do it online. So it was 100% done, which is great. Now I can do everything without the help of anything, and I can I invoice my clients via PayPal, and everything is connected with the accounting Zolo system, which save a lot of time where I can spend more time on the sale. So I'm really, really happy about this experience with e-residence program. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really awesome, Christelle. I mean, I gotta give it to you. I think the greatest pain for a lot of startup founders in Africa is the inability to find platforms. I work with a lot of founders. I mean, I have a founder in Francistown, which is the second city, and the guy just he just wants to work in the remote world, right? But he's forced to just live in the physical world. So, and I think the generation that we have a lot of youth dividend in the country. in Botswana, and a lot of them don't like affiliate with this physical world, and they want to just be like on the platform like you. So I mean, at that level, like maybe you just take us on the summary steps of like the quick steps for a Botswana venture that's listening to you right now on, hey, what do you do like from A to B, like on a Sunday morning, you just want to get on, like what do you have to do, like is it what, like the research part, like where do you actually like just simply start?
So do you mean with my business or with the program?
No, with what, when you just have a great idea and you think like it can land outside your environment. Obviously it's a scale up, right? It's not like a startup, so it has to be a scale up, right?
Well, I'm on the scaling process basically.
Yeah.
So okay, well, because I was a part-time freelancer before in 2016. So at some point, I knew that if I put much effort, I will go internationally. Where when you do the freelancing, you get clients from all over the world. So when I saw the impact of what I'm doing, I decided to go like internationally. And in Africa with the banking system, it was really a nightmare. So, and for me to be able to do and to have that saving time process, so that's why I end up going, applying, actually going to be part of the European market, basically, because it's only at that point where you can have that flexibility. So by the way, I'm a Cameroonian and based in South Africa, and as a foreigner, it's hard to have a business bank account, if you are not a permanent resident, or have a South African partner. So that's why I was stuck with the banking system, and I pushed my mind go all over the
Yeah.
world.
Let me just interject there. I mean, if people don't know like the barrier that exists, I mean, if you're a business person right now, right, and you're from Botswana and you want to set up a company in South Africa and you want to get a business visa, right? They're gonna ask you to have 1 million.
1 million.
Yeah, and people don't know it. Like, I've set up a business in South Africa, so I know the whole process. So if you want a business visa, you're gonna have to have 1 million pula that you can show reflecting in your bank account. I mean, that's the greatest barrier that you can pick for an early stage guy who's just started, where they're gonna get 1 million reflecting in their bank account. Even if it comes in the morning, I don't expect like in 2 days that money to still be reflecting as 1 million, right? Because you gotta pay people, you gotta do stuff, right? So I think this is just a good practical example of like, if the infrastructure is not right in certain countries, the talent is gonna have to look somewhere else. And also, it also takes the message home in terms of like this whole thing of borders. It's gone. It's like the borders are just the greatest barrier to innovators and freelancers and startups, right? And the freelance economy, as you say it, right? It's where is the leverage. So I think for places like Botswana, we need to embrace freelancers, right? So I like that lesson from you, yeah. So I like that lesson from you, yeah.
No, I can't.
All right, cool. Anika, maybe we jump onto you before we jump onto my audience. I'm sure they're like preparing they're like a very interesting insights, yeah? This has been interesting. Thank you so much, Christelle. Thank you so much.
No, I can't.
Yes, thank you. So I'll just quickly share my screen as well. So thank you very much for having me today. So as I said, my name is Annika, and today I will tell you a little bit about the Estonian startup ecosystem. So Startup Estonia itself is a governmental initiative which aim is to help to boost the Estonian startup ecosystem. I myself am responsible for the startup visa program, and I'm also running the foreign relations at the Startup Estonia. But if we go back to the beginning, I think it is important to sort of define which companies are we working with. The definition of a startup can vary from country to a country quite a bit. In some countries, it's like any starting company. But in Estonia, it's important that the startup is based on technology. It has to be innovative with a repeatable and scalable business model, and has to have also a fast global growth potential. So the technological aspect is very important, and this is what we look out for when we are talking about startups in Estonia. And Estonia is special because we have over 1,290 startups, so almost 1,300, and it's only a country of 1.3 million people. So the ratio is pretty epic, and we can say that approximately every 87th person in the Estonian workforce is related to startups. So that's pretty epic ratio to have. But what we are very proud of are our unicorns. We are in the global top of unicorns per capita. So Estonia has 7 unicorns. Everything sort of started off with Playtech and Skype, which were both founded in Estonia. Skype had its founding engineers were Estonians, otherwise like an international company. And what we have seen is that actually one of the first employees of Wise and Bolt were originally working for Skype and then founded their own startups. So we have seen sort of an effect that, you know, startups, successful startups are giving birth to even more successful startups. And then we also have Pipedrive, which is a CRM for salespeople. And then 2 of those unicorns are actually founded by Estonians, but not based in Estonia, which are Zigo and ID.me. So what is maybe special about the Estonian startup ecosystem and how we have had such success with the startups and having this many unicorns is that the ecosystem itself is extremely collaborative. So in a small country like Estonia, you can pretty much pick up your phone and call to another successful unicorn founder and learn from their mistakes and use that knowledge for your own startup. So it's extremely easy to learn from each other, but they are also in very close contact with Startup Estonia. So we are sort of in between startups and the government, and constantly, you know, keep our eye on the legislation and, you know, the startup visa program, which I will quickly tell you about a little bit later, is, you know, one of the results. It came to life, you know, within 11 months, and once we observe a problem in the ecosystem, we sort of take it to the government, and we have the ability to act very quickly and make so that the jurisdiction is pretty straightforward. So this is something that we are extremely proud of, and, you know, we keep our eye constantly on finding out who's the next potential unicorn, and we are sure that many more are yet to come, and I hope to achieve, I think, in the next 10 years to have at least 30 unicorns. So let's see if we can manage that. But another reason why probably our startups are so successful are our support organizations. So Estonia has approximately 150 support organizations in the startup ecosystem. So if we look at the ratio, like 1,300 startups and 150 support organizations, then we see that our startups get a lot of support. So actually, if you go to Startup Estonia's website, you sort of can filter out different, based on what stage you are at with your startup, different kind of help you may need for your startup. So based on, you know, are you looking for a funding or mentoring or, you know, incubator programs, you can sort of very well narrow them out and get their contacts and, you know, get the support that you need the most. So this is something that we keep our eye on as well, and make sure, you know, maybe like in the startup mindset section, you can see that, you know, not that much funding is yet available. So that's maybe something indicator for us as well. Maybe, you know, we need to work on this more. And then quickly just about the startup visa as well. So Mike's already told you about e-residency, but the Estonian startup visa is more like a physical access to Estonia. So for those who are actually looking into becoming part of the amazing startup ecosystem in Estonia can, from outside of the EU, can actually access Estonia with the help of Startup Visa. So it's meant for both founders who wish to relocate their businesses to Estonia, as well as for talent who wants to work for Estonian startups. So a good idea for that is, I will tell you about the Estonian Startup Database, where you can find a lot of cool startups to work for. But yeah, overall, over 3,400 individuals have been relocating to Estonia since the beginning of the program, which started back in 2017. And we have seen that a lot of talent founders come from Russia, Iran, Turkey, and India. And employees come from also Brazil, for example, India, Russia, and Ukraine. So pretty diverse in that sense. And well, what does the startup visa give you? Well, the access, of course, to Estonia, but also to the rest of the European markets. So another thing that, probably Estonia and Botswana have in common is that, the market itself isn't necessarily too big. Why, and potentially why our startups are so successful is also that they have to think big since day one. So they can't focus on the local market necessarily and have to sort of think globally from very early on. But through Startup Estonia as well, like I said, the startups get access to the highest level of government officials and C-level business people through Startup Estonia. So we keep a close eye on whatever is going on in the market and make sure that there are no obstacles. A very useful tool for those who are interested more about the legislation in Europe and not even necessarily only Estonia, can check out on Startup Estonia's website our model documents. So there are 22 legal model documents free to download for everyone who wants to find such samples of documents like cap tables, founders agreements, and so on. So you can check them out, and since they're valid for Estonia, they are good to go also for the rest of the European Union. So startupestonia.ee/resources is the place where you will find those. And then another very cool tool that Startup Estonia has is the Estonian Startup Database. So it's the most extensive database that is available currently, and you can access all of those 1,290 startups that are currently in Estonia. You can filter them out based on different sectors, what's the employee count, what phase are they at, how much money they've raised, and so on. So it's a very good tool also for investors, because they can definitely seek out who is the next potential unicorn. And so that's a very nice tool for many to use. And definitely recommend you to follow us on our social medias. Startup Estonia's Facebook page gives you an overview of all of the events happening in the ecosystem. So not only our stuff going on, but also what else is going on in the Estonian startup ecosystem. And we have very cool podcasts at our website and also on YouTube. We have currently 3 seasons with amazing founders, both Estonian and from elsewhere, who have become part of the Estonian startup ecosystem, and I definitely recommend you to listen to it. And if you have any more questions, then I'm happy to answer them now. And if you don't have a question now but want to come back to me later, then this is my contact. You can email me too. So thank you very much.
Yes, so we're back. So Matt, let me just get your insight before I open it up to my colleagues here. My energy has come back. I didn't take coffee, but I just got too excited. I picked the KPI of what we're looking for as a program. We're looking for VCs, right? We're looking for a structure like that in Botswana, right? I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about the Global Entrepreneurship Network and our company, and we're looking for a way to create a C-level approach in which wealthy individuals in Botswana can start investing in talent that you guys have done, right? Then the other part is the issue of startup database. I mean, we've got 10 great founders that we would like to profile. It'll be great to see how we make a deal book together. I mean, Anika, I'm gonna need your help to make sure we package these guys from Botswana to get the money from the VCs, right? Yeah, so it looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff that's been presented. I might ask you at one point to show again your slide, because where you spoke about the mindset, the startup mindset, and just before the session with the World Bank, I mean, I was telling them that, we've got a great expectation for people to start up companies. And I think most of the founders in the group will tell you, right? I know, like, I started because I was in a certain environment. I lived in Germany a little bit. So I got pre-exposed to technology very early on in the 2000s, when nobody knew, like, there was a thing called a computer, right? I mean, you could actually write code. When Facebook was being launched, I was probably one of the first people to get on it before anybody knew in Africa that there's Facebook, right? So, and even the definition of startup, right? I mean, I like this. I wish there was a government representative in Botswana to hear this, because in Africa, like, people get confused when you speak about a startup. They think like, we grew up like eating worms. There's a lot of worms in Botswana in trees, right? So you've got a lot of women who package these nice worms into bags and export them. So people think those are startups, and we've said, no, that's not it. Like, it doesn't work. Like, forget that, right? So this is like knowledge that I think needs to ride the people driving the policy. But of course, let me leave my my insights and make it about the colleagues. Max, do you want to say something before I open up to the audience? Because I'm sure this is going to be like really, really engaging, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're really excited. Please open for more questions, because there's a lot of details, I think, about running a company. It seems a lot more difficult than it actually is. I think that's what Christelle also mentioned, that starting an EU company, you just go online and you do it, and you suddenly have access to these new clients and new markets. So yeah, I would say that definitely don't be afraid to try this out. This is E-Residency also, like, in a way, it's a new project for Estonia. It wasn't done before, new concept in a way, and it's a really big surprise for us that it's worked out in that way, that we have such a big community.
Really great. This is really great. Let me open up with the ladies. As you can see, Estonia has got a gender parity. There are 2 women on the panel. This is the first session that I've seen that you guys agree with me, right? So let me just hand over to some of our women. I see Batsidi. She's building an agri-tech platform, like a chatbot. Batsidi, maybe you want to start. This might be like something in your bandwidth to just jump on, and then we'll jump to classmate after that. And then so let's just keep it. Just raise your hand so that I pick you ahead, right? All right, cool.
Thank you for that, Moketsi. I'm just excited about the database, the startup database, that we can register our startups there and potentially be seen by investors. So I'm just excited about that. Thank you.
Just maybe a clarification. So the Estonian startup database is still, meant for those who are actually part of the Estonian startup ecosystem. So if you want to become a part of the Estonian startup database, you can, but you would have to actually come to Estonia and, be part of it actually. But what you can do is obviously find collaborations and, find maybe interesting startups that you might want to invest in, or, whatsoever. So this is still proof.
Okay, I see.
But if you want to be part of it, then you would have to, be in Estonia. Sort of.
I see. Oh, it's so all exciting. So I think that's definitely something that can be beneficial to us and our startup, especially in terms of collaboration. In Botswana, we may be limited in terms of resources, in terms of knowledge. So finding new businesses to work with, new individuals to work with, that in itself is just amazing.
Absolutely. And also just get an overview of, what has been done already, so you sort of get an overview of, what's their business like as well, and so on. So it's, even a good tool for learning and, growing your own startup. So it can be used in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Batsidi. I appreciate your insights, even though you didn't introduce yourself and what you're doing.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, let me just give you a second to do that, right? Female take first, right?
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Batsidi Silebogo. I'm the founder of AgriNect. We are in agri-tech. Basically what we're trying to do is we just want to connect farmers with their customers, because they've been facing a lot of issues, more so because of COVID-19, the lockdowns, the shutting down of businesses and schools and all of that. So we want to chip in and help them in that area.
and you're currently raising. You never know who's listening, right? You never know, right? You're missing the most important KPI, right? You're currently raising, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We just recently won the Orange Social Venture. So capital is trickling in. It's not as fast as we would like, but we are hoping through this program to receive funds to build our startups to scale, like Christelle. So yeah, we're just hoping to get a lot out of this. KPIs like Moketi highlighted. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Batsiri. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Yeah, let's pick one of the colleagues, and then after that, I'll let the Estonia team come in as and when they're free to. There we go. Tuso, you on the call. Do you want to just interject? Let's not make this formal, guys. You know, we have a great opportunity. Let's leverage it, right?
Okay. Thanks, Mr. T, for giving us this opportunity to interact with the community of entrepreneurs and startups. My name is Tuso Tusitse. I'm the co-founder of Classmate. On the call, I'm with my partner Zino, is the lead developer for our platform. We are actually disrupting education. We know for many years ago, 100 years, we haven't seen education, transforming into, getting into the digital space. So what we do is we are actually trying to break down the wall that exists between when a student is at school and when students are at home. So we have seen through the advent of COVID how especially the students, they were really affected. And as part of our community social responsibility, we offered our platform and we received up to about 30,000 students in about 2 weeks, which was really promising. So what we are looking up to, for a program like this is to actually make collaboration and do our prototyping outside Botswana to see if our platform can, scale up outside Botswana and Africa as a whole. So, I mean, we really appreciate, because, I mean, we learn almost every day with the likes of Mr. T. He brought a very wonderful, because, usually the startups, we are very shy. We can't open up, can't even express ourselves, but it's a learning curve. I mean, for us to be here at this time and, having a chat with you guys, we really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tuso. Education is the future. I think when the Estonian ambassador visited, is it Kenya or so on, there was just an interest around education because, education is how you remove poverty, in my view. So, so Matt, you will comment on that. Yeah. So I think let me just allow you guys to interject before we take the next two entrepreneurs to participate, right? Yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you mentioned, we recently had a presidential visit to Kenya, that there was a lot of interest in the edtech sector. And we see also that some Estonian startups look towards Africa in the edtech field, which is really interesting. And actually in general, also like our startups also look towards Africa because it's a really exciting place where to be and where to try new ideas and everything. So it's not a one-way thing that we just want to get African startups to establish in Estonia to go to Europe. That it's a two-way traffic that we try to.
Absolutely. And just to add, maybe is that even in our Startup Estonia's team, we have a project lead who is working closely with edtechs, and like this is something that we focus on, and also now science and tech. So both of them are very interesting and important for Estonian startup ecosystem as well. So yeah, definitely check out our database if want to explore what's going on in the Estonian startup ecosystem maybe, and seek for collaborations there. And if you're more interested in the ecosystem itself, then Startup Visa page is there as well. You can check out how to come to Estonia actually. But yeah, thanks for sharing.
And yeah, I'd say about e-residency as well. In a way, what's interesting is that, because Africa is such a great market in general. Botswana is just one country, but then again, you have so many interesting places where to expand, where to be. But I would say that an e-residency also really helps some cases that sometimes freelancers, they sort of really explore new markets thanks to it, because they can have this low bureaucracy, relatively low cost entity, and then they can suddenly grow, they can suddenly scale, they really find, it like expands their idea maybe, and also helps you to, validate your product internationally. So, so definitely, I would say encourage people to try it out. Especially, would love to see the first e-residency companies from Botswana as well. That would be great to see.
Yeah, there we go, guys. I mean, there's 10 companies, 10 to 12 companies. I think one of them should actually pick this. I mean, for me, it's going to be a female. I have to say female first, because I think like there's just a great opportunity to do something among the females, something new, something fresh. It's a pity that one of the guys that are doing data-driven tech, in short tech, are not here. Siriti Insights. I think this was going to be like an interesting engagement for them, but we'll give them access to the insights, right? So yeah, just coming back to Christelle. So Christelle, look, I really want to just leverage quickly for you, like the issue of startup mindset, the issue of seed, the issue of why scale to Europe. Like what do you think like the entrepreneurs that I have in the cohort like ought to like really like think in the building blocks of Europe? Like just take them through like the go-to-market strategy you have, because like Europe is so big. I mean, I've lived in Europe. I've been to France. I've when I was there, Matt, when I was living there for university, right? We spent most of our times in the cars, drinking the nice beer in Germany. So and we went as far as Latvia, right? So, and I've got great friends in Latvia. So I know Europe has a certain culture, right? So, I mean, your message, Christelle, to those that are building for the world, like as Botswana citizens, and it's nice that we speak good English, because we were like Anglophone, colonized, right? The British, the Botswana story. So what's your message in terms of like the size of the market for startups in Europe, in your own view, right?
So basically, when you look at the big picture, most of the time, you just, I mean, based on the skill that someone can have, he wants to be well paid on what they are doing. So, and when you have clients international, it actually raise your income, because you get paid in euro or whatever currency, apart from the local currency. I'm not really sure about Botswana, because in terms of rand that I'm talking about. And
Oh, don't worry, Botswana is a wealthy country, right? The pula is stronger than the rand. So don't forget, there's like diamonds everywhere in Botswana, right? There's
oh wow,
there's
that's
400
awesome.
there's 400,000 plus elephants everywhere in Botswana. So when you just drive out of my house, I might see one elephant. Then the same.
Well, well, the equivalent, when it comes to the currency I'm talking about, euro, US and pounds or whatever, it's always higher, and most of the time stable, as well as when because, well, from my own perspective, most of my clients were looking for like they wanted, they have that trust problem, because most of the time they want to see if you are really a well-known company, or if you are legit, if you are not doing some gambling or whatever. Also, they want to be sure that their information that they are sharing, it's safe. When I'm talking about, it's about the EU data protections. I have that issue with one of my clients, was saying that, oh, what about my information? Is it sure? Are you sure it's safe and whatever? I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm part of the EU market, and you're secure, and I share all my data, my company profile, whatever, and they were okay. So at some point, they want to have that security. When I don't know, when you mentioned about was it a graphic designer or the web, about that people that you were talking about what they want to do. I was not sure about what you said. Can you please say it again?
Yeah, actually, he's going to ask you a question, so he'll speak for himself. He's on the group. Yeah, he's going to explain himself because he's building, they're in the cohort, so they're building something called Lime Gig. Araman, do you want to just come in and explain the work that you guys are doing? Yeah, let me just let you interject there.
Because part of that, it depends on the goal that you want to achieve, and about the market and the customer that he might face. People have different experience. I might deal with more, people from the US or from the EU, and he might deal with, another people. But from my own experience, the client want to be sure that their information are safe. And at some point, you want to grow your sales by having some income with a stable currency. Also, with the experience working in different company industry as well. So this is what I can share. But in terms of marketing strategy, well, as all entrepreneurs, you might have something, but I have not implemented everything at this stage as well, because I'm currently doing everything myself. So hopefully in the next few years I will have some support whereby I will achieve my goal in what I'm doing.
Yeah, trust me, I know building a startup is hard. it's like somebody taking your face and just pulling it on a hot road, right? It's so hard. So I always tell people that they shouldn't assume it's like it's the easy way to get to the check. Sorry, but it's a hard thing. I'm sorry to say it, but it's not easy. Yeah. So anyway, let me jump on to Araban and Richmond. Araban, do you want to jump on? Cool.
Mukherjee, you're muted.
Yeah, Richmond, thanks a lot, Matt. Yeah, Richmond, do you want to jump on?
Yeah, this is all very exciting stuff. I did not know that this actually existed until just now from you guys. I didn't know it was actually possible for me to form a company outside, and I don't actually have to physically be there. So this is great stuff, because in my business, I realized that it's best to work online. I did it before the whole COVID thing hit, because in Botswana, we only knew that things will happen online, things can be done online after COVID hit and we're forced to go into lockdown. But I've been running my business online before then, where we would share our documents via Google Drive and all that stuff. So I can see the advantage that I would have if I could just set up my business that side. So then I could actually get some of the employees from European countries as well, and we can just merge our work together that side in a nice foundation. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, actually, Richmond, I'm gonna challenge you to introduce yourself properly. It looks like Matt, I need your help to help my founders know how to do like a high level pitch deck in 1 second. Just how to like get their intros right. Anika, I think you see the gap, right? So let's get help from Startup Estonia on that. So and also Richmond, maybe you're gonna show us a trail. I want these guys to see what you're doing.
Yes,
because,
yes,
like
definitely.
I know you've struggled to get a co-founder because you're building something for the world, and I think
exactly.
yeah. So let me just get you to start afresh and then show us the trailer in a few seconds, right?
Thank you so much. You actually read my mind. As I was speaking, I was talking about I could find my co-founder that side. But thank you so much. I'm sorry, I was very excited. When I get excited, I forgot to introduce myself because this is really groundbreaking. So anyway, my name is Richmond, and I am the founder of Bantu Vision. I'm currently working on a game that will basically show our culture in the gaming community. If you could just give me a few seconds, just pull up the trailer. I could maybe share the screen for you so you can just see what I've been working on. Okay. All right, I'm ready. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Awesome. You can go ahead. Just explain it as it's playing, right?
Okay. So basically, this game is going to be an online game that's going to be available on all mobile platforms, where I'm going to have everybody logging in from different parts of the world, whereby you create your ecosystem, you create your settlement in Africa, and then you have to defend your settlements from other people as well who will be logging in online and also creating their settlements. So basically, it would be like a battle for land, sort of like a battle royale. So this is the graphics that we're gonna go with.
All right, awesome.
Yes. So being based off that side would actually help set my servers there as well, so that you know, with online gaming, I'm going to need servers set up all over the globe so that I don't crash. So yes, I'm super excited, and obviously you're going to send us the links so that we can actually follow up with the websites and get more information. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, what I wanted to say, gaming is definitely a very exciting industry. So we do see a lot of Estonian startups also doing the same thing, and also we see e-residents using gaming. I mean, going into gaming, it's really something interesting. There's even one particular service provider that we have that is focusing now only on gaming industry. I think it's called Digital Estonia. So just want to bring that out as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I actually picked that Matt actually presented that there's a successful startup. His name is Bertrand Duo. When Matt was presenting, so maybe Richmond, if there's a possibility to do an intro for you, to maybe connect, or maybe if you're looking, like you said, you're looking for a co-founder, there might be somebody who wants to build like with you from Estonia, who's like as passionate as you. I mean, sometimes, you know, the investment ticket is not the money. A co-founder can actually help you get to the win quite fast, right? Yeah, so
yes, that is very true.
All right, awesome. Aravan, do you want to jump in so we can go back to the Estonia team to jump in on the core content that they spoke about? And
No
then
problem.
we have Udira if you want to say something as well after Aravan.
I'm sorry, guys, my network keeps kicking me out, but I think this has come at the right time for us because we've been having, we're a freelance marketplace, by the way, that connects African talent to global gigs. And we've been having quite a hard time sending out payouts to some of our freelancers because of the crazy restrictions in our countries. And we'll find a way of connecting with you guys and plugging in our freelancers into your residency.
Oh, by the way, Arabang is building this because Botswana has an unemployment rate of 40%. Anika, that's like scary, right? And these are not ordinary unskilled people. These are people with degrees, right? So as you know, education is free in Botswana. So most of these guys, they go to school, get a degree, but then when they come back, there's just nothing for them, right? So I think leveraging the platform economy or freelance economy could be a dividend exchange between Startup Estonia and Startup Botswana, right? So, and as well as just unlocking other opportunities, right? So I don't know what you think, Anika. I mean, the problems here are not unique. I mean, they're probably what Estonia had, like when your president made the announcement that everything was going to go online, right? So I think Botswana just needs that, right? Needs that magic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's fascinating how 99% of the state services are online now in Estonia, and how it has, you know, how pandemic, for example, hasn't had as much, you know, impact on our daily lives in that sense, because most of the things could be carried along regardless. So, you know, that's one side of it. But you know, in general of like talent, then, you know, Estonia is no different to any other country. Like we too are lacking, you know, IT specialists. I don't know a country where that's not a problem, basically. So, you know, that's something that we all are facing, and so, you know, we are constantly keeping our doors open to those who have the knowledge and education and you know, want to contribute to, you know, a cool initiative or a cool startup. So absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I have one of the colleagues. Zeno, should I ask you to unmute? Do you have something you wanna add to that? All right, there you go.
No, I'm with Tuso from Classmate.
Okay, awesome. I like engineers. They don't like to talk too much, right? Yeah, I can tell.
You guys
right?
are shy like Estonians. So, you know, we're really surprised here today.
Yeah.
So like that pretty much. So
Yeah. So I mean, maybe Matt, I think, look, what I pick is in terms of the residency, this might be an interesting program for like the high tier individuals who are either looking to, you know, put their money in Estonia, because we do have a wealthy, affluent community, but as well as, you know, the startups. So I think we can take two phases of this. This is going to require, just from this audience, a bit more engagement where people get to know, like we could have like follow-up sessions, even invite corporate like execs, because through like the partnership we have with the bank, that could be a great start. For Anika, I was gonna say, ask her to show her slide again, because there's one particular slide with the mindset. Do you mind doing that? Because I want to just speak to that, because that's key for our founders to just pick.
there was actually like just, you know, one slide I was even missing that I didn't go over. But which one were you thinking about? What was it about?
The one with the startup mindset and then the pre-seed and the, yeah.
Oh, okay, you mean what is a startup, sort of?
No, not that one. It's a bit far, and the one that speaks the different stages of the business.
Oh, you mean ease of access, sort of?
No. The one before, I think, yeah, before that. Let's see. Yeah, that one.
Okay, our unicorns. Mm-hmm.
No. The one after that. Number 5.
Yeah, the support organizations.
Yeah, if you could just make that full screen.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, yes. So do you have a specific question in mind, or? So what you can sort of see here is like, if you think of yourself, like what phase are you at currently? So this is like something you would see if you go Startup Estonia's website, startupestonia.ee/ecosystem, like startup ecosystem. Then you sort of choose what phase are you currently at. So, you know, are you still like in the startup mindset sort of phase? Are you like super early on? Are you a pre-startup, startup, or a scale up? And then based on that, you can choose, you know, what do you need? Do you need mentoring, incubators, whatever? And it shows you what kind of support organizations are there. And, you know, Startup Estonia itself doesn't directly hand out money to any of the startups. Estonia is too small for that. So what we do is like we fund those support organizations who then, whose, you know, chore is to help the startups. So in here, you can just see those 150 support organizations that are there that do, you know, different things, and, you know, startups can easily access them and, you know, apply to their programs and you know, get what they need out of it.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment and say, you see the first 3 legs: startup mindset, pre-startup, and startup. I think this is our greatest need in Botswana. This is where the structure is done, and I think if there are programs from Startup Estonia that we can put together with Matt, I think this is where the partnership could happen at the country level in terms of landing a startup program. This is where I think really we need to focus, because I think when you guys define a scale up, right, when you guys define a scale up, what is, do you define it in terms of like how much is the revenue? Do you use revenue, or what do you? Yeah.
So it's just like has been under discussion this year because we are creating like a separate program now for scale-ups, but basically like yes, a scale-up has raised over 1 million euros worth of investments, has over 50 employees, and has grown over the last 3 years at least 20%.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I knew you were going to say that, because like a startup in Europe is like probably needs to have raised 1 million. So in Botswana, that's like 10 million pula. So I think that should interest some of our cohort guys to understand, like for Europe, like 1 million is like, yeah, exactly where the starting point is. So it's not like very small checks. So the numbers are quite interesting. So yeah, I think let's pick up the conversation on what programs lie around, those three legs. I think it would unlock a lot of opportunity for us as we continue to dialogue, right? But obviously as well, I'm keen on just you guys, your appetite on what we can do for these founders in terms of just, ecosystem enhancement from a collaborative perspective. I think probably there are tools that we can leverage that are in the region, maybe even in Cape Town, before even looking far away into Estonia. Then obviously we can look into saying if there are any C-level executives that are looking to Africa as an asset class for themselves, right? And then finally, attracting VC firms into places like Botswana, because already there is one, like Matt said, there's one company in Estonia doing work in Botswana. So if there's a potential for us to do something around that, I think that might be a key action item for this. Yeah.
I would just mention one thing. Sorry, I got into. There's an Estonian ecosystem organization called Garage 48 that I think has most Africa like kind of experience from all the Estonian like incubators, and they also deal with quite like early stage ideas and everything that might be really nice, I think, in Botswana. And they have actually a conference coming up, which will be taking place from 9th to 12th of December. I can share this as well. So this might be interesting for some people to watch. They'll get some, Estonian insights, but they will also talk to there'll be many African entrepreneurs there in particular. So that might be interesting. Just share it in the chat as well. On E-Residency, I'll obviously share the follow-up materials. I think first of all, it's a really open program. Anyone can do it. I think as Botswanans, not an issue, to get the company done. I think it really makes sense for someone who wants to, build an international business, not just look at the domestic market or maybe the next countries around you. Then it would make sense to run Botswanan company, do it through Botswana. I know it's a good governance country that is working to make things better. But again, I think it's good to have the hunger to grow bigger. And we've had a lot of these conversations that why do Estonian startups, why are they successful? I think it's because our market is really small, 1.3 million people. People have to validate their idea early on. They have to go to another market, have to go abroad, and then they might realize that they're not competitive, or they might realize they have to change their product early on. And that's why many of them grow and are successful. So I would say that Europe is much nearer than you think it is, but obviously you need to have a product that is suitable internationally, or also it's E-Residency, first of all, is really a product for freelancers. I think most of our e-resident community are freelancers, and then they start to slowly scale their idea. Not everyone builds a startup, but everyone can be a freelancer and actually work internationally.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. That's basically said everything already. So cool.
Awesome. Yeah. So colleagues, let's just catch if there are any questions. Do we have any questions before we come to the summary? All right, guys. This is really great. Let me just thank the Estonia team. They like to be productive with time, so 1 hour was good with them. Hopefully next time they accept our, and by the way, this is the first time they've done this. They've reached out on the private sector in Botswana. So this is like a door opener for so many opportunities, right? And heads up to the entrepreneurs that were first to see this. So it's really the ball is in your court to build some great things or share with your friends who are actually thinking along the pillars that have been shared. So I think on behalf of the Global Entrepreneurship Week, let me just summarize by saying, I think 2 programs have been presented. The E-Residency program, it's either for those that are looking to build a startup in Europe, but landing in Estonia, or if you just wanna sell your skill in Europe, but obviously through Estonia, right? So, and then the team from Anika and Crystal, they've represented the true model of what the startup industry looks like, what it represents. And this is, I think, in my view, the vision that Botswana has as a digital economy to build platform businesses. And it's great that I validated once again that I'm not the crazy person who said like, stop packaging insects, right? Like, that's not like a startup, right? Anika, I'm gonna need you to help me sell that storyline, right? Because it's important for the future generation to really understand the meaning of platform or software as a service. Like, I think this is a great opportunity to build onto this relationship. And I want to thank you sincerely on behalf of the cohort and the ecosystem, but obviously to also thank our partners, being the Republic of Estonia, for allowing us to partner with them, but also thanking the Global Entrepreneurship Network for providing the platform, being the Global Entrepreneurship Week, but also to thank the entrepreneurs that made time this afternoon to just jump on and listen. We know their greatest asset is time and global networks, right? So, and thanking finally the team from Estonia that presented today, Christelle, Matt, and Aneka. So on behalf of the Global Entrepreneurship Week, that's it. This session has been recorded on the Global Entrepreneurship Week Botswana Facebook page. Go there and share it. Go there and listen on it as many times as possible. If you require the presentations, I will be kind to ask Matt to share those that may be necessary for you guys so that we can send them directly to you. If you would like to be connected to Christelle, I assume she's available on LinkedIn. That's where, you know, we find people nowadays on the internet. So I think we'll ask her to just share on the chat her contacts, if LinkedIn, if you would like to connect with her, or we'll go via Matt and then you just get connected on email. That's always the safer and easiest way. So colleagues, let me stop here and thank you. And just say, Christelle has just shared her email. Please feel free to reach out to her via email. Yeah, so, and we will stop here, and I look forward to catching up with all of you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the German Embassy session. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Muketsi, for a really nice session. Yeah, thanks for having us. And we hope that this collaboration will go far. And for anyone, yeah, we encourage apply for your residency if you're thinking about it, and go to our marketplace to check out the service providers, and you can already start chatting to them if you have a plan to start a company, and you can compare the prices and really go for it, I would say. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much as well from my side, and check out Startup Estonia, and we're happy to collaborate. So see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you so much for having me as well. So if you need any advice on how to set up the company in Estonia and be part of the E-Residency Estonia as well, I'm free to help. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.